1. Adversary tactics. The specific techniques and methods attackers use to breach, compromise, and move through target systems. 2. Threat intelligence. Collected and analyzed information about current or potential threats that helps organizations prepare for and respond to cyber attacks. 3. Indicators of compromise, IOC. Evidence that a system has been breached or attacked, such as unusual log entries, unexpected network traffic, or known malicious file hashes. 4. Behavioral analytics. The process of monitoring and analyzing user and system activity over time to detect anomalies that may indicate a security threat. 5. User and Entity Behavior Analytics, UEBA. Tools that apply machine learning to detect unusual behavior by users or devices that deviates from established baselines. 6. Incident Response Plan. A documented set of procedures designed to help an organization detect, respond to, contain, and recover from a security breach or cyber attack. 7. Malware analysis. The process of examining malicious software to understand its functionality, origin, behavior, and potential impact on systems. 8. Threat hunting. The proactive practice of searching through networks and systems for hidden threats that have evaded automated detection tools. 9. Anomaly detection. The identification of unusual patterns in system or network behavior that deviate from established norms and may indicate a security incident. 10. Security Operations Center, SOC. A centralized team responsible for continuously monitoring, detecting, analyzing, and responding to security incidents in real time. 11. Risk assessment. The process of identifying potential threats to an organization's systems, evaluating their likelihood, and determining their potential impact. 12. Attack surface. The total sum of entry points and vulnerabilities that an attacker could potentially use to gain unauthorized access to a system. 13. Data exfiltration. The unauthorized transfer of data from a system or network, typically performed covertly by an attacker who has already gained access. 14. Advanced Persistent Threat, APT, a long-term, targeted attack where a sophisticated adversary maintains undetected access to a network to steal data or cause prolonged damage. 15. Vulnerability scanning. The use of automated tools to scan systems and applications for known weaknesses that could be exploited by attackers. 16. Patch management. The process of regularly identifying, testing, and applying software updates to address security vulnerabilities and keep systems protected. 17. Phishing. A social engineering attack that uses deceptive emails or messages to trick users into revealing credentials or clicking malicious links. 18. Spear phishing. A targeted form of phishing aimed at specific individuals or organizations, often using personalized details to increase believability. 19. Reconnaissance. The initial phase of an attack in which an adversary gathers information about a target to plan subsequent stages of the intrusion. 20. Exploitation. The act of taking advantage of a vulnerability in a system or application to gain unauthorized access or execute malicious actions. 21. Penetration testing. Simulated cyber attacks authorized by the organization and designed to find and exploit vulnerabilities before real threat actors can. 22. Privilege escalation. The technique of gaining higher access rights within a system after the initial compromise to perform more damaging or unauthorized actions. 23. Lateral movement. The technique of moving through a network after initial access to reach additional systems, expand control, or access higher-value targets. 24. Data loss prevention, DLP. Tools and policies that identify and prevent sensitive data from being leaked, stolen, or transmitted outside the organization. Zero-day vulnerability. A software flaw that is unknown to the vendor and has no available patch, leaving systems exposed until a fix is released. 26. CM, Security Information and Event Management. A platform that aggregates and correlates security data from across an organization to detect, investigate, and respond to threats in real time. 27. Denial of service, DOS. An attack from a single source that overwhelms a system or network with traffic, making it unavailable to legitimate users. 28. Distributed denial of service, DDoS. A large-scale version of a DOS attack that uses multiple compromised devices to simultaneously flood a target with overwhelming traffic. 29. Botnet. A network of compromised computers controlled remotely by an attacker, often used to launch coordinated attacks like DDoS or spam campaigns. 30. Command and Control, C2. The infrastructure and methods attackers use to remotely communicate with and direct compromised devices within a botnet. 31. Honeypot. A decoy system or resource deliberately set up to attract attackers and study their methods without putting real assets at risk. 32. Kill chain. A model that describes the sequential stages of a cyber attack, from reconnaissance through exploitation to exfiltration, used to understand and disrupt attacks. 33. Purple Team. A collaborative security exercise that combines offensive red team attack simulation with defensive blue team response to identify gaps and improve overall security posture. 34. Forensics. The discipline of investigating a cyber attack by collecting, preserving, and analyzing digital evidence to understand what happened and support legal proceedings. 35. Post-incident review. A structured analysis conducted after a security incident is resolved to identify lessons learned and improve future detection and response capabilities. 36. MITRE Attack Framework. A globally accessible knowledge base of adversary tactics and techniques observed in real-world attacks, used to map, detect, and defend against threats. 37. False positive. An alert generated by a security system that incorrectly identifies legitimate activity as malicious, requiring analyst time to investigate and dismiss. 38. False negative. A failure by a security system to detect actual malicious activity, allowing a real threat to go unnoticed and unaddressed. 39. Log analysis. The process of reviewing log data from systems, applications, and network devices to identify signs of security incidents or policy violations. 40. Network Intrusion Detection System, RNIDS, a security tool that passively monitors network traffic for signs of attacks or unauthorized activity and generates alerts. Network Intrusion Prevention System, NIPS, a security tool that actively monitors network traffic and automatically blocks suspicious activity before it can cause harm. 42. Endpoint Detection and Response, EDR, a security solution that monitors endpoints for suspicious activity, records behavioral data, and enables rapid investigation and response. 43. Vulnerability management, a continuous process of identifying, evaluating, prioritizing, and remediating security vulnerabilities across an organization's systems and applications. 44. SOAR, security orchestration, automation, and response, a platform that automates and coordinates security workflows, enabling faster and more consistent responses to detected threats. 45. Root cause analysis, the process of identifying the fundamental reason a security incident occurred in order to prevent it from recurring. 46. Heuristic analysis, a detection method that identifies new or unknown malware by analyzing behavioral characteristics rather than relying on known malware signatures. 47. File integrity monitoring, FIM, a security control that continuously checks files and system configurations for unauthorized changes that could indicate compromise. 48. Whitelisting, a security approach that permits only pre-approved applications to run on a system, blocking all others by default. 49. Blacklisting, a security approach that blocks specific known malicious applications, domains, or IP addresses while allowing everything else. 50. Zero Trust Architecture, a security framework that assumes no user or device should be trusted by default, requiring continuous verification before granting any access. 51. Security awareness training, educating employees on how to recognize and respond to security threats, such as phishing, social engineering, and suspicious activity. 52. Access Control List, ACL, a set of rules attached to a system or network resource that defines which users or systems are permitted or denied access. 53. Risk mitigation, actions taken to reduce the likelihood or impact of an identified security risk through controls, policies, or process changes. 54. Risk transfer, shifting the financial impact of a security risk to a third party, most commonly through the purchase of cybersecurity insurance. 55. Residual risk, the level of risk that remains after all security controls and countermeasures have been applied to reduce or mitigate the original risk. 56. Malvertising, the use of online advertisements to distribute malware by embedding malicious code that executes when a user clicks or even views the ad. 57. Farming, an attack that redirects users from a legitimate website to a fraudulent one, often through DNS manipulation without the user's knowledge. 58. Advanced Encryption Standard, AES, a widely adopted symmetric encryption algorithm used to protect sensitive data across government, enterprise, and consumer applications. 59. RSA, a widely used asymmetric encryption algorithm that secures data transmission using a public and private key pair. 60. Transport Layer Security, TLS, a cryptographic protocol that encrypts data transmitted between a user and a server to prevent eavesdropping and tampering. 61. Secure Sockets Layer, SSL, an older encryption protocol that has been deprecated and replaced by TLS, though the term is still commonly referenced in web security discussions. 62. Incident Management, the coordinated process of detecting, triaging, containing, resolving, and documenting security incidents within an organization. 63. Third-party risk management, the practice of assessing and managing the security risks introduced by vendors, contractors, and partners who have access to organizational systems or data. 64. Chain of custody, the documented and unbroken record of how digital evidence is collected, handled, stored, and transferred from the scene of an incident to legal proceedings. 65. Penetration tester, pen tester, a security professional authorized to simulate cyber attacks against a target environment to identify exploitable vulnerabilities. 66. Least privilege, the security principle of granting users only the minimum access rights they need to perform their job function, nothing more. 67. Privileged access management, PAM, a security discipline that manages, monitors, and controls the elevated access rights of users who administer critical systems and sensitive data. 68. Asset management, the practice of maintaining an accurate, up-to-date inventory of hardware and software assets within an organization to ensure they are tracked and protected. 69. BYOD, bring your own device, a policy that permits employees to use personal devices for work purposes, typically subject to specific security requirements and controls. 70. Network segmentation, dividing a network into smaller, isolated zones to limit the spread of attacks, reduce the attack surface, and improve access control. 71. Threat modeling, a proactive process of identifying the most likely threats to a system and designing or adjusting defenses to counter them effectively. 72. Log correlation, the process of aggregating and analyzing log data from multiple systems to identify patterns, detect anomalies, and uncover signs of security incidents. 73. Ransomware, malware that encrypts a victim's files or locks their system and demands payment in exchange for restoring access. 74. Time-based one-time password, TOTP, a temporary authentication code generated by an app or device that expires after a short window, used as a second factor during login. 75. Keylogger, malware that silently records keystrokes to capture passwords, credentials, and other sensitive information typed by a user. 76. IPsec, Internet Protocol Security, a protocol suite that authenticates and encrypts Internet communications at the network layer to ensure secure data transmission. 77. Virtual Private Network, VPN, a technology that encrypts Internet traffic and routes it through a secure server, protecting privacy and enabling secure remote access. 78. Threat actor, an individual, group, or nation-state responsible for initiating or carrying out a cyber attack against a target. 79. Exploit, a technique or piece of code that takes advantage of a specific vulnerability in a system or application to achieve unauthorized access or impact. 80. Data breach, a security incident in which sensitive, protected, or confidential data is accessed, disclosed, or stolen without authorization. 81. Patch, a software update released by a vendor to fix a specific bug, close a security vulnerability, or improve application performance. 82. Data classification, the process of categorizing data based on its sensitivity and value to the organization, determining what protection level each category requires. 83. Data masking, a technique that replaces sensitive data with realistic but fictitious values, protecting the original data while preserving its usability for testing or analysis. 84. Threat vector, the specific path or method a threat actor uses to gain initial access to a target system or network. 85. Mean time to detect, MTD. The average amount of time it takes for a security team to identify that a threat or incident has occurred within the environment. 86. Mean time to respond, MTTR. The average amount of time it takes for a security team to contain and fully resolve a detected security incident. 87. Continuous monitoring. The ongoing, real-time observation of network activity, system behavior, and security controls to detect threats and ensure policy compliance. 88. Incident containment. The immediate actions taken to limit the spread or escalation of a security incident and prevent further damage to systems or data. 89. Escalation. The process of notifying higher-level management or specialist teams when a security incident requires additional expertise, authority, or resources to resolve. 90. Deception technology. Security tools that create fake assets, decoy credentials, and false environments to lure attackers, gather intelligence, and expose active intrusions. 91. Command injection. An attack that inserts malicious commands into an application to manipulate the underlying system or execute unauthorized operations. 92. Account takeover, ATO. An attack in which an adversary gains unauthorized control of a legitimate user's account, often through credential theft or phishing. 93. Red Team versus Blue Team exercise. A structured security simulation where a red team launches realistic attacks against systems while a blue team defends and responds in real time. 94. Remote Access Trojan, RAT. Malware that provides an attacker with full remote control over an infected system, including access to files, camera, microphone, and keyboard. 95. Security Playbook. A predefined, documented set of steps that guides security analysts through the response process for specific types of incidents or alerts. 96. Threat Landscape. The overall picture of the cybersecurity threat environment, including active threat actors, emerging attack techniques, and industry-specific risks at a given point in time. 97. Vulnerability remediation. The process of fixing, patching, or mitigating identified vulnerabilities to eliminate or reduce the risk they pose to an organization. 98. Chain of exploits. A sequence of individually minor vulnerabilities that an attacker chains together in succession to achieve deeper or more impactful access to a system. 99. Incident eradication. The phase of incident response focused on completely removing the source of a security incident, such as malware, backdoors, or compromised accounts, from affected systems. 100. Log retention policy. Organizational guidelines that specify how long security logs must be stored, ensuring they are available for forensic analysis, investigations, and compliance requirements.